is a warrior from another time.
If your head comes away from your neck, it's over.
Pursued through eternity by an enemy bred of pure evil.
If he wins the prize, mortal man would suffer an eternity of darkness.
A battle for the prize of immortality or death.
In the end, there can be only one.
Sean Connery, the time is coming for The Highlander.
Sunday night at 10:30 on Fox 33.
November 22nd, Highlander, of course, is hitting 4K here in the U.S., and it is no stranger to home video. In fact, if you've watched my little video already, you kind of have an idea of what I'm about to show here, but these are just the copies I have, and this is not what Highlander is limited to. It has literally had a lot more than this. This was his first bow on DVD, though. Here's the
I had that one.
Old-ass Lumineer Republic Pictures DVD put out by Artisan way back when Artisan was, before they were bought out by Lionsgate. And then I don't even think this is the only version that Anchor Bay put out, but this is one of them. This is the Queen edition that's in a nice
tin.
Metal
I have that one too.
This has the CD and just like 3 songs on it, and the movie and a book.
Yep.
And this was when they remastered it, I believe, the first time. And then they remastered it again, and it made its way to DVD and Blu-ray, and then it made its way to DVD to Blu-ray again when it was mastered in 4K for the 30th anniversary. So if you have this version of it, it's a pretty good version of it. Because that scan was then used for this one, which will subsequently be the same one that gets used in November for the one that's coming out here. But this is Studio Canal's release from the UK.
I love that cover. This
it is a very nice cover.
Yeah, it reflects. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then, of course, when you open it up, you got the Kurgan here, facing off against Connor.
I love that.
And then on the other side, you've got Connor here when he was, a Highlander. Of course, you got the 2 discs. Now, the Blu-ray that's in here is the older Blu-ray release from before the 30th anniversary. So I actually got to compare all 3 versions of it. So
nice.
Again, this 4K upgrade is not a huge leap over this one here. So if you have this one and you're kind of on the fence, it is a bit of a jump, but it's not like leaps and bounds, right?
What year was that one put out?
This was the 30th anniversary, so this one's only from 2016 or whatever. So this is only like 5 years old now, and this is the same scan, but it's actual 4K with Dolby Vision and all that business. And it also comes with a poster, some really cool cards. Now these cards are going to be the same cards that come with the Steelbook.
Okay.
But this also has a poster that's just like this here, and also has
Isn't there like a mini comic book
and a mini comic?
There it is,
and some buttons.
Nice. I kind of wish I would have bought that one now.
Yeah, me too.
This, and I'm assuming the Lionsgate version will have the same thing.
Yeah.
Because all the old special features are carried over on to the Blu-ray, but there is 3 new special features on the 4K. Or take that back, 4 new special. Well, 5 actually, 5 with commentary. But 4 basic videos. We got Clancy Brown interview, David James interview, who is the photographer on the film, and then a featurette that talks about the music and the soundtrack. And then this is the creme de resistance, though. You get a brand new hour-long documentary with brand new interviews from pretty much everybody who's still alive.
Nice.
Including Christopher Lambert, the director, everybody who's still alive. The only people we're probably missing is people from Queen and stuff like that. So
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, unnulfortunately, yes, you're right. He's not here either. But
yeah, rest in peace.
Understandable, you know, obviously. Yeah, but Mulcahy's here, Panzer, all of them. Great interviews, hour-long brand new documentary. That's the kind of shit I like to see.
Yes.
Right. You're going that extra mile, even though this is not a huge improvement picture wise. It is a big improvement. The fact that we've got, these new featurettes, a new commentary, and this hour-long documentary to go along with all the classic features, which there was already a really nice documentary from the old features. It was like almost 2 hours in and of itself already, on top of some of the other stuff. So, fortunately, outside of the music videos, pretty much Highlander's been fortunate to have most of its special features carried over.
Well, that's
throughout
good.
the years. So, and of course, the only way you can get the music videos is if you get the silver box set here, or you buy the Queen Greatest Video set,
Yes.
which is also available. So it's not like they're not available. But no,
there's mine 1 and 2,
and that is actually worth a lot because of Highlander 2.
right? And this mine says the 25th,
scan.
so this is
so that'd be the 25th anniversary
years.
scan.
Yeah,
And that one looks muddy as hell.
yeah.
And that's the one that would be on the old UK disc I have.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to I kind of wish I would have bought that one because I was going to pre-order that one, and then I saw it was coming to the Steelbook and all that through Best Buy and all that. So I was like, I'll just wait for the US one. Now I kind of wish I would have bought that one.
It's kind of here's the thing. I'm not a fan of these chunky packages.
Right.
Because it does get squashed in the mail. It did. These always do tend to.
Mm.
But yeah, you get a lot of cool goodies in it, and I did order the Steelbook too, so I'll be able to compare.
Well, there you go.
Like for $20, fuck it. I've got almost every other version of this movie. Why not?
I don't know why we can't get a theatrical cut of Highlander 2. That's just one of them things.
It'd be nice if they came out with a nice new edition with all like a special edition and the original cut just to have, because I love the batshit crazy cut, just because of how batshit crazy it is.
It is. That movie is just. It's so bad. It's one of the where it's become so bad it's actually fun to watch. Where it's so
That's
good.
the version I grew up with. I had the tape.
Me too.
We didn't have the Renegade version until. Well, I actually have it here.
I remember renting the tape, and I was like, "What?"
This was the first time we got the Renegade version, because actually I have this one here.
Oh, there you go.
This is the first time we got the Renegade cut. Then they redid it for the Blu-ray. So fuck it, redo it for 4K and give us the theatrical cut for once.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I wonder if it's got a crazy version.
I wonder if it's got like a thing like
what about
Fright Night 2. What was that?
No, I think they just don't want to release it.
Yeah,
3
probably.
and 4?
Got the imports of those, and they've been on DVD, but that's it.
Yeah, I have the DVD. I have them all.
Honestly, though, my import of Highlander 3, outside of it being cool because it has the actual title overseas, which is The Sorcerer or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like dog shit. The DVD actually looks a little better.
Oh.
Because I actually have the digital version and a standard definition digital version. It looks almost better than my Blu-ray. What went wrong with Highlander 2?
They ended it in the first movie.
A lot of things.
A lot of things.
Actually, that's not even so much the problem. The bigger problem was the fact that the studio behind it wanted and demanded Sean Connery be in the film. That is where I think the biggest problem lied. And in the fact that they had to bring back a character that died. It's a little easier to kind of shake off that, because they kind of, I can't remember how they presented it, but in the kind of like, Kurgan, he thought he was the last one, but he wasn't. He was just very powerful. So that's why it was a powerful quickening.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's kind of how they played it off in the future of beyond that from my recollection. But
I think they were aliens, and
the second film they tried to make them fucking aliens from the future.
No, the original version, they were just aliens.
You're right. No, you're right. I got crossed over. Yes.
Yeah, and then in the Renegade, where they tried to fix it, Runner will be back. He's going to restart his computer.
They made them from the future.
Yeah, they made them from the future to make it more narrative to fit in with the original.
And it makes it worse.
Yeah, and it just confuses it. It's that's why I said it's so bad. It's fun to watch. It's just like a train wreck. You just can't stop watching. And bless Michael Ironside's heart. He tries.
That's the sad part is there's some really cool shit in part 2.
There's
some
cool
really,
stuff.
really cool shit. And they spent a lot of fucking money on that movie.
Yes, they did. I mean,
For
like,
no good reason.
I think they really thought they was going to have like a big franchise hit with it, and so they were like, "Yeah, let's do this."
Well, the movie wasn't even that big of a hit. That's the funny thing. It was a big
Right.
hit on video. I mean, it was a bigger hit in the UK than it was here. And they had a bunch of financiers. So, like, that's the other thing. So I think it was kind of a Golden Globus kind of situation.
Mhm.
Where they had and all these financiers had different demands, but the one that was most prominent is they had to get back Sean Connery. And in that lied the problem of how do we explain this whole thing and whatnot. When
Yeah.
clearly the series was the route to go, right? Like,
Right.
and I didn't even hate the idea in the fourth film of them having like a group of, you know, immortals that were sacrificing themselves to keep the you know, the game going forever. That part
Right.
it didn't bother me. The rest of the movie I thought was shit. But we'll yeah, that's a whole
I'll
other
be
story.
honest with you. Part 4 has grown on me through the years because, yes, I was a little pissed off when they. Spoiler alert for anybody who's not seen Part 4, which I may actually watch this weekend and bring it on next week, Wednesday maybe. They kill Connor and Duncan takes it, which I was a little pissed off when I
The whole
first saw
thing
it.
is batshit crazy though.
Yeah.
Greg. It's not just that. It's the whole
That-
fucking thing.
Yeah, but it's kind of grown on me through the years, and I've come to appreciate Duncan a little more. And
Like, here's the problem. You have a
Adrian
movie that was
Hall,
supposed
I
to
tend to
make both
appreciate him a
fans of the
little more.
movies and the series happy, and it did neither.
It's true.
In fact,
It's true.
it infuriated both.
Because I would. It goes in all different. Much like most Highlander sequels, it goes all over the place.
And here's the funny part, because when that movie came out, believe it or not, I was actually dating my son's mother at the time. This is just like a year before he was born. And she was a huge fucking fan of the series.
Right.
I was a bigger fan of the movies. I've seen a couple of the episodes of the series. I never really got that deep into the series, though. To me, without Connor, it was pointless. Right? To me, Connor was Highlander. So you had us, it was funny because you had us doing different reactions to the film while we were watching. I was cringing and yelling at all the shit that had to do with the movie side of things.
Mhm.
She was getting pissy with all the things that had to do with the show. So she's like, well, he's a watcher, but he wouldn't say that, or this is not how that would work. And then she's like, that's not how she would act because they had this happen and that. Like, so she was just going off. So to me, it reminds me of what a lot of people are trying to explain to me about Star Trek: The Next Generation films before I became real familiar with the show. And now after seeing the show and seeing the movies, I'm like, oh, I get what people are saying. These are completely not the same characters.
Right. Right.
So it's probably the same way when you're watching Highlander Endgame, when you're like, those are the same actors, but they're not playing the characters like they are in the movie. Like, something's not right, you know? It's
exactly. Which I get that. Yeah, I get that because I've seen the show and everything. But like I said, it always feels that's to me, it feels like a Highlanders. Even like what they did to the TV show, like especially like with part 2. It's like these characters all of a sudden changed and stuff that happened in the TV show and the movies. It's just it's all kinds of weird.
Let's not even get into how part 3 technically acknowledges and disregards the TV show at the same fucking time. Because there's a character from the TV show that pops up nonchalantly, and if you don't know he's from the TV show, you have no idea.
Yeah,
and he doesn't really play any factor into the movie at all, really. And then if you know that, fine. But then the movie still plays like there's no other Highlanders.
It does.
Like the movie is like, it's totally disregarding. And it's like, you do realize you have a very popular show on TV right now at the same goddamn time going on. Like,
exactly.
Anyway, the Highlander series has been a mess ever since the first film. And that's why I'm like, you know what? You can remake this and reboot this because there's potential like a motherfucker here. It just needs focus. It needs rules. You need to sit down, you need to write this out, and you need to figure out that this is where we're going to end, but we need to start here so we have this kind of much to work with.
See, I agree with that because, I mean, as much as I love the first Highlander movie, that's one of my all-time favorites, and I don't really care for remakes and reboots and stuff like that, but to be honest with you, knowing the fact that Henry Cavill is coming on as Connor, The guys that did John Wick, director of John Wick, is coming on, and he's a fan of the TV show himself. And he said the really big challenge was to try to blend what's the movies and the TV show storyline together.
Which is what you got to do. That's
Exactly.
pretty much what you got to do. You got to kind of come up with this idea that there's a hell of a lot more Immortals than you realize.
Yeah, so that gives me a little. That honestly, it gives me a little hope for the remake because he's actually been proven to be a fan of the TV show and the movies. And he has the right ideal to blend the TV show and the movies together and using Connor McLeod. Much as I would love to see Duncan, but I think it's best to go with Connor and trying to figure out how to do that. I'm interested to see who they get as their Kurgan now. Have we ever heard anything about that?
Well, Batista was signed on years ago.
Yeah, years. That was like way
but
back.
I don't know if he's still going to be a part of it or not, but yeah. But that's the thing is you kind of got to go with a simple story like the Kurgan. And you don't even have to have the idea that the Kurgan's only there because of the, the final prize. He's been tracking down Connor since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. And that's what I love in this interview that they got on this new disc where, Clancy's talking about how like, that's kind of his motivation is like, he's gotten to this point where he's been alive so long that nothing else matters to him, but getting Connor.
Right.
Like that's the only thing getting him up in the morning anymore. Like he has nothing else to live for. That's it.
I could
buy
that.
He went into it with that motivation. Like that's where this guy's at in his life. He's been alive for so fucking long and he's conquered everything that he's done every thrill. There's nothing left for him to do but take down Connor. That's his final, the only reason he gets up in the morning and all that business. So yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like it's on the right track. I just, honestly, I'm not sold on Batista as the Kurgan. And like Styles Section said, no one will ever top Clancy Brown.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, nobody's going to top Clancy Brown. Henry Cavill looks like he'll probably be a good Connor. So as long as he can do the accent, because that's my only, I mean, I love Christopher Lambert as Connor McLeod. I think he's awesome, but the accents.
I don't think Henry's going to have a problem doing it.
So, yeah, I think Henry can do a great Scottish accent, and I hope he does a good American accent. So, I think he's got the accents down.
As far as bad guy, though, like as far as playing the Kurgan,
who would you cast?
Batista, Jason Momoa would be an interesting Kurgan.
Yeah, he's got the.
But he's a little too big of an actor to take on a secondary role like that, unfortunately.
He's got a more booming voice than Batista.
Yeah. I'd probably go along the lines of Jeffrey Dean Morgan or...
Oh, that could be good. He'd have to bulk up, though.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have somebody who's physically going to be able to look imposing up against...
Henry Cavill, because he's a big mother.
That's just it. Yeah, Cavill's much bigger than what Christopher Lambert was. That was the beauty of Clancy Brown is he's like 6 foot something and big dude. And Connor's just like 5'9" and whatever, but yeah, between those two, probably the best.
I do like the idea of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but he, like I said, that could be interesting.
Because the Kurgan is actually supposed to be a medieval knight, and the movie was actually titled The Dark Knight because of him originally. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but it was originally called The Dark Knight, and because he was referred to in the script as the Dark Knight. So
interesting.
Just like Batman, yes.
Yes, just like Batman. Who would you cast?
Night, yeah.
Who would you cast as Ramirez?
Oh, easy. Antonio Banderas.
There you go. That's perfect casting.
Yeah, because he's fucking Zorro.
Yes, that is perfect casting. He's got the sexy. I mean, granted, he's not Sean Connery, but he's got the sexiness for the women like Sean Connery portrays. The peacock. He could totally pull off the peacock. That is perfect casting. Yeah. And plus, you could say he's the Spanish Egyptian. So that would be perfect. That would be perfect.
The only other guy I could think of is the Kurgan. Who was in No Country for Old Men?
Oh, what's his name?
Damn it. That guy.
I know who you're talking about with the weird bowl haircut in that movie.
Yes. He would be perfect.
Javier Bardem. Yeah, but
and if you can't get him to play the Kurgan, he could also be your secondary to possibly play Ramirez. But I can see him playing the Kurgan and kicking ass. That'd be great.
That would be cool. But I think you nailed it with Ramirez. I really do.
Ramirez.
It's Antonio Banderas. I think that would be perfect. But yeah, the Kurgan is the hardest one. I just don't know who I would ever cast for that. I just don't.
Was your woman.
Of course you are.
My name's Candy.
I love that movie.
Or
I
I'm
really
Candy.
do.